Hey Scorpio, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for January. The first card that we have out is Eight of Cups. And Six of Cups. Okay, so right in the beginning of January, this feels like moving out of a space that leaves you wanting and moving in the direction of something that feels like it is connecting you with what you want. I feel like there's a really big emotional component to this. Having the Eight of Cups, having Six of Cups, having Page of Pentacles, you can be actually returning to something. You can be returning to a feeling. With Eight of Cups, it means sort of cutting your losses and walking away from something that you have realized it's never really going to give you what you were looking for on that deeper level. It's not going to satisfy something on a deeper level. And within that, I feel like a reconnection is happening. Like that's kind of what this offers to you. And it feels like it allows for a deep new chapter with yourself. Sure, there can be another person involved in this. Primarily, I feel like this is about you, focusing on you, taking care of yourself, having this chapter with yourself. I think really allowing yourself to connect with a loving relationship with yourself. It feels like it's all focused on connection. Like Eight of Cups is about disconnection, where we're looking for connection, realizing if I want it, I'm not going to find it here. So let me look around. Let me go in the direction of something where I do feel like that connection is there that I want. And then Page of Pentacles and Ace of Cups feels like sort of this new venture that you're on where you are focusing on connection. And self-love can be a big part of this too. You moving away from whatever was happening with the Eight of Cups, that thing that you could have been within but was feeling like it wasn't really hitting the mark for you, you stepping away from that, which I feel like most of all is about a conceptual understanding. I'm not going to keep looking for something that isn't here. It's like if you're looking for an item and it's not in that room, are you going to keep going back into that room looking for the item until you realize that it's not in that room? We can keep looking around, looking for it, like maybe we'll find it today. And then Eight of Cups is kind of that realization of, oh, it's not even in here. I've looked everywhere, it's not in here. And so this is about getting to that place where consciously there's a realization of this that's being made. Kind of like you've had your fill of emptiness. And so having that Chariot there is about the progress that comes with finalizing this realization. You can feel uncomfortable with stepping away from what you're familiar with. Like even though you can know that you're not going to find what you're looking for in that room, there can be a part of you that's very used to the habit of going in there and looking around. Even though you aren't going to find what you were looking for, at the same time, that habit of going in there and looking around can feel comforting because you sort of know what the deal is there. And so I think this thing that's connected with some possible change that can be happening, there can be a part of you that feels maybe uncomfortable with this. I think just the evolution of things. Okay, with Page of Pentacles and Seven of Pentacles, I'd say that you're just continuing to work on something that you've been working on. This can be an important piece of your life currently where you're still just here putting in the work, doing your thing, learning, making progress, taking the steps that need to be taken. You can still feel like you are sort of at the beginning of a process, but not at the very beginning of it. You can feel like you're sort of making your way. This is something that you've committed to. This is something that you've invested in. And so you are here doing that. Yeah, something is definitely not going as expected or as planned here. Okay, so Eight of Cups is that room that we keep walking into that doesn't actually have what we're looking for. And saying, I'm not going to keep walking into this room. I'm not going to find what I'm looking for here. That's the Eight of Cups. Ace of Cups is the room you walk into where what you want actually is in that room. But having Five of Cups below feels like maybe not totally over that feeling of loss of like, well, in my head, I was going to find it in that room. And even though I didn't, and I'm going to find it in that room, I'm still having a hard time letting go that it wasn't going to be in that room over there. And so there can be some stuff that you're moving through on an emotional level of, I think like what already is that you're accepting so you can focus on what's in front of you. Because with that Ace of Cups, it feels like, look, what you've been looking for, it's right there in front of you. And it feels like being so upset that it's in this room rather than that room, like not able to see that. And so this is something that you can be working through because you need time to process this. This is something that you feel things, you're very deeply connected with what's going on emotionally, and there are some deep tethers that are there. So I think this sort of coming to terms and allowing things to evolve will allow you to see presently what's going on. I definitely get something here about letting go of what has been, of what's already sort of a known fact, coming to terms with this, because I'm seeing the sun on the bottom of the deck. So I'd say that January actually can be quite sunny for you. There can be a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, and it can even feel like something that you've been looking for, you finally found it. I just think that even though you've found this thing that you've been looking for, at this same time, you can feel like, well, I didn't find it over there though. And I just think this process of you working through things and learning how to let go of the past so you can be present to what's going on. It feels like this is the big thing during the month of January. Because it's not that you don't have what you want now. The Ace of Cups is there, so you found what you wanted. It's just about, I think, really releasing everything else, which is going to take the acknowledging totally fully how you feel, how you felt. I wanted to find it in this room. I'm upset that I didn't. I really wanted to, you have to go through that whole process. Because if you're still pushing away those feelings, you're not going to be able to process. You need to feel all your feelings in order to move through them. You have to accept all of your feelings in order to move through them. And until that, you can feel like you can't be totally present. You just have to process. So you can feel like January is a lot of processing, even though you can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel for sure. I also feel like you could be looking at something and feeling like it's game over when it's still the middle of the process that's occurring. Five of Cups is looking at Seven of Pentacles, and this feels like Seven of Pentacles is something that's still active. This is If you have a plant that's growing in the garden, what can happen is that there can be like a branch that falls off of it, and it's just the branch that falls off, but the whole rest of everything is there. And it feels like there may be this focusing on the branch that fell, and then like disregarding that there's the whole plant is still there, but it feels like getting really fixated on that, which there's nothing wrong with having your feelings about it. It feels like getting stuck there, though, may be an issue. So doing what you can to move through this so you can see that there's so much good stuff around. And I think it's about connecting with that and seeing that, like, it doesn't just all have to be sad. It doesn't all have to be grieving and disappointment. Like, there's more of stuff that you would enjoy experiencing. And that's definitely here. Maybe there's also a feeling of being like slightly terrified moving forward. Some of you, for this thing that you're going through right now, some of you may be getting some help. To allow you to move forward, but there can be fear about moving forward because of it being unknown. Coming back to this idea of you're not finding what you're looking for in that room. You've already acknowledged this. It's not that you don't know it. Eight of Cups says that you know it. You know that you're not going to find it in that room. Nine of Swords is that part of you that's like, okay, well, even though I know I'm not going to find it there, like, this is what I know, though. So even it's predictable to me. And so that part of you that I think is looking for that predictability doesn't want to move forward then, even though you know you're not going to find what you're looking for in that room. And so this stuff needs to be processed in order to move forward. Because it feels like this is meant to help push you. Like, these feelings are coming up to help you to process things to be able to move forward, but you can have a hard time not doing that. Because there can even be like something that's coming through that's saying, hey, I'm bringing this to you, I'm showing up with this, but you can feel very focused on what has happened and stuff that can't be changed. The only work left to do there within that is to accept all of the feelings surrounding it so that you can be living in the present. What you can be still coming to terms with is that you may have enjoyed that period of time where you were looking in the room, not knowing that what you wanted wasn't in there yet. And so you can feel very nostalgic for that time before you realized that it wasn't in that room. I think too that when we hold on to something like that, just psychologically speaking, when we're in that place of like wanting to connect with that little span of time where you were looking around and you didn't yet know that that thing wasn't in the room yet, and you're not there anymore, you're in a different moment, but you're feeling nostalgic for that. I think that comes from a place of not believing that you can recreate that in the present moment. And so it feels like keeping that attachment to there and not living presently, because there's this idea that you can't experience that again. That's the only place you're going to experience that again, and it's not true. So working through these things as well is going to help you move forward, because I think there's this feeling of being terrified of going into that next room, even though the door is open there, because of the change and because of the unknown that's associated with it. But what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing that you're gonna migrate into the next room, and this feels like a lot of like psychological and emotional stuff that you're gonna be working through in January. The sun definitely comes out again for sure. I think the biggest thing is like when you find your reasons, you'll be able to move forward. When you're understanding the thinking that's connected to what you're feeling and how that's like a byproduct of what's going on up here, the beliefs that you hold, you're going to be able to be freed of them, and it's not going to be something that you feel stuck within anymore. Because of course you're not sitting here being like, I just want to stay stuck, I don't want to move forward. Of course you want to move forward and live your life, but you can have this feeling of like, I can't do it though because I'm feeling all of this stuff. It's about working with that so that you can move forward. So that's what is going to be happening in the month of January. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.